I first came across the writings of Dr. Louie Crew, also known sometimes as Her Royal Highness Queen Ludabelle, through my work in youth ministry as I was looking for material to use in teaching about LGBTQ justice issues in the church and society. It didn't take long to become an ardent admirer of Louie's courage, his writing, his passion, and his love for the Episcopal Church, and especially his love for God and all people. Dr. Louie Crew was born in Alabama in 1936 and was raised in a devout Baptist family. After he received his master's degree from Auburn, he moved to London for a year in 1965. Before that, he'd been deeply in the closet while teaching at a prep school in the U.S., but welcomed the opportunity to relocate for a while as laws restricting homosexuality were becoming tougher. He came back to the U.S. and lived in the gay underground of the South while teaching. He married a woman for a brief time, having been pressured by his psychologist to accept heterosexuality. Their relationship lasted for 5 years. But in 1972, he met the love of his life, Ernest Clay. In 1973, after over 30 years in the closet, Louie made the decision to come out as a gay man in an interracial relationship. He says, "When I announced my gay identity, the world did not fall apart as I had feared. In fact, for the first time, it really began to make sense. By embracing myself, I discovered, even actualized, my strength, my energy, my capacity to love, my ability to be loved, my will to survive as myself rather than as a fabrication of my community. For the first time, many major ideas of our culture began to make sense in terms of my personal experience, not the least of which were grace, redemption, the wandering Jew, the Good Samaritan, integrity." Ernest and Louie married each other in 1974 and are married to this day. That same year, Louie founded Integrity, the advocacy group in the Episcopal Church that continues to work for full inclusion of all LGBTQ people in the church.
It was just such a magical kind of moment. There was just this real awareness that God had something really wonderful in mind.
Louie Crew has made 3 critical contributions to the life of the church. The first, and as far as I'm concerned, the most important, was he brought internet literacy to the church. It often was the case while people were quibbling over the internet and its value and all of that. Louie set up stuff that people used even though it wasn't official because he did it well and he was open and willing to be helpful and encouraging to different groups to create the networks, to use the internet. And it's just remarkable the impact that he had. It literally forced the church into the 21st century. And so, quite apart from anything else, that is a significant and lasting contribution for which he does not get the credit that he deserves. Then the second, obviously, and very important thing that he did, that he was one of the founders of Integrity. At a time when Integrity was at a crossroads, you might say, that the concept was a good one, but creating an organization that could be self-sustaining was a challenge. And Louie had that capacity. I don't know if I'd call it a charismatic, but I would call it a charism to bring people together and keep them together. Because the biggest problem with Integrity for the first several years was the tension and distrust between gays and lesbians. And Louie somehow figured out ways to bridge that gap, to move it beyond that, and to clarify how people could cooperate and make common cause. And he also, to his credit, has been open or consistent with the rest of the LGBT community, which when integrity first started, they didn't want to have anything to do with the other folks. See, I mean, it's terrible, but that's just, the way it is. And then the third thing that Louie Crew has done and did, and it's in that capacity that I know him the best, he was a masterful church politician and did not denigrate the official structures of the church, but understood the importance of participating in those structures as a deputy to convention on standing commissions, and then eventually serving with me on the executive council. So those are the three areas where Louie, I think, has had the maximum impact. Plus, he's just a wonderful human being.
What does it mean? Why did you choose me and others like me, God? What does this lesbian, gay movement mean in the world? And it's not to get you to love us. It really isn't. It's to tell you we've been loved by this wonderful rabbi who brought us to this well, and by a rabbi in the Episcopal Church who came to say there will be no outcasts in this church. What love, what hope. I know people who are dying tonight because they haven't heard that good news.
Louie's writing and witness, his life and legacy in the Episcopal Church, are a huge source of inspiration to me, and a piece of why I chose Episcopal Divinity School for my seminary formation. I'll consider my life blessed indeed if I can live with even a fraction of the integrity and love that he has, and that he has invited others to in the Episcopal Church.